Hello and welcome to MIDAS Tutorials. This tutorial covers the new feature of public booking requests. This allows non-MIDAS users, such as visitors to your website, to make booking requests for your rooms. Now these are requests, not actual bookings, so the visitor will make the request, it goes into MIDAS and awaits processing by a MIDAS user with the right privileges. By default, public booking requests are disabled. So I'm going to show you first of all how to enable them and set them up. So we're going to log into MIDAS first of all. Then we go to MIDAS admin options. From the drop down we select Manage MIDAS. And then we select the Web Requests tab. So to enable public booking requests for your MIDAS, we need to select this box here. Next, we need to choose which of our venues we want to make available to non-MIDAS users for requesting. So I only want visitors to be able to request the use of rooms 1, 2, 3 and 4. I don't want to make room 5 available for public requests. To the right of this list, there's a further few options we can configure. By default, visitors can make requests for any time. But here you can limit the period that they're able to make requests for. So if you want to insist that all requests that you receive are made at least 7 days in advance, we can change this option here to 7 days. If we don't want visitors to request dates too far in advance, we can further limit it using this option. So here I'm going to say that requests can only be made a maximum of 21 days in advance. The field below allows you to set an absolute date. So for example, if you only want to be able to take requests for this year, then you can disable dates that go past the end of December. So in summary, these three settings then mean that visitors have to make a request at least 7 days in advance, but no more than 21 days in advance, and they can only request dates up to the end of 2011. The last two options control what information we want to make available to these visitors when another booking is taking place. By default, if there's another booking taking place at their desired times, MIDAS will just show it's unavailable. However, you can change this to show the name of the client or the organisation who has an existing booking. So when we're done, we're going to click Save Changes. So those settings are now saved and public booking requesting is now enabled. So I have a second tab open here, which I opened earlier when public requesting was still disabled. So if I refresh this page now, you'll see that the screen has now changed. So in just a few easy steps, visitors can make booking requests into your MIDAS. So we're going to do one of those now. First thing a visitor will have to do is decide which room they'd like to request. So here you'll see a list of all the rooms we've enabled for public booking requests. I'm going to select room 2 and I click Next. Next we need to decide which dates we'd like to request. Now if you remember back to the admin settings, we said that booking requests must be made at least 7 days in advance. Today is Friday the 13th of May, so the earliest date we can book is Friday the 20th of May. Also, if you remember, we said that you can't book more than 21 days in advance, so you'll see that dates past Friday the 3rd of June are also disabled. So we're going to make a booking request for Friday the 20th of May. So I selected that date and I click Next. The screen then displays the current availability for the date and the venue we've selected. So from this we can see that at present someone else has already booked room 2 between 9 o'clock and midday. And if you remember from the admin settings, we restricted the amount of information available to visitors, so the visitor doesn't know who's booked this room, they just know it's unavailable between these times. So we're going to make a request for later in that day. So we're going to request from 2 PM till 6 PM for 20 people. Click Next. The visitor will then be prompted to enter their details. So first of all, their name, MIDAS Sales, their organisation, MIDAS, their email, and some notes about their booking. So I'm going to book room 2 for a child's party. If I want to make changes to my request, I can click Change Booking. Otherwise, I click Request All Available. MIDAS will then have sent an email to the person who's made the request containing details of the request, and the request will now also be there in MIDAS ready for an administrator to process. So if we switch back to our MIDAS tab and click Pending Booking Requests, we'll see the request I've just made has now appeared in MIDAS. So please remember, this is not yet a booking, this is just a booking request. So now, because I'm logged in as a MIDAS administrator, I have a range of options available to me. I can approve the booking. If I click this button, it will add it to MIDAS and automatically send an email to the client saying their booking has been approved. This button allows me to query the booking request with the client. So if I click this, I can now compose an email to the person who made the booking. Hi, do you need any catering with this booking? Thanks. So you can compose an email to the visitor who's made the request. Their details are there, and you can click Send and send that as an email to them. And we get confirmation that the email has been sent. So that was the second button. The third button allows us to modify the request before we add it as an actual booking. So for example, if we felt this request was better suited in room 3 instead of room 2, we could select room 3, check availability, and accept that booking request as an actual booking. If I go back to the booking request, there's 2 more icons alongside booking requests. This one here, fairly straightforward, is reject. If we click that button, it means that we don't approve this booking request. We'll be able to give a reason here why we're not approving it, and then we click reject. The person who made the request will then be sent an email saying that their booking request hasn't been approved, and the reason that we give here will be sent along with it. Last but not least is the padlock icon. Now this allows you, as the person that's logged into MIDAS, to take ownership of this request. Obviously, if you've got a number of users all with permission to process booking requests, this becomes quite useful. At the moment, this particular request is unlocked, meaning that anyone who logs in and has permission to process booking requests can approve or reject this booking. Now obviously, if you're in the process of negotiating this with the client, if you've used the query button to send a query back to them and you've got this in hand, you obviously don't want another user coming in and approving or rejecting that booking if it's something you're dealing with. So clicking the padlock icon will display a small padlock symbol alongside this pending request. This means that now you are the only user that can approve or reject this booking request. No other user who can view pending booking requests can do so until you unlock it by clicking the unlock icon again. So finally then, I'm going to approve this particular request. So I'm going to click approve. It's now been added to MIDAS as a booking. There's no more pending requests at this time. If I go to the 20th of May, which is the date that was requested, you'll see this booking has now appeared in MIDAS. And this concludes our overview of public booking requests.